When a millionaire yelled stop, as sweet girls sobbed. I'm sorry. After stepmom's cruel milk dump. The air was thick with tension. A crowd gathered, eyes glued to a dramatic spectacle unfolding before them. At the center, a teenager named Lily trembled, sorrow spilling down her cheeks like rain against the windowpane. She stood frozen, the light catching the sheen of her tears, making them glisten with innocence. It was an ordinary suburban afternoon turned into a scene of raw, high-stakes tension. A billionaire, Mr. Jonathan Price, with his perfectly tailored suit and perfectly slicked-back hair, his reputation built on power and presence, towered over her. He yelled, "Stop!" The word echoed in the still air, sending shockwaves through the bystanders. Lily's sobs grew louder. "I'm sorry! I didn't mean to!" The pleas echoed hauntingly, sounding more like a desperate animal than a girl in the world's wealthiest neighborhood. What was this heated exchange about? Just moments earlier, there had been laughter and chatter, a picturesque scene transformed. Now, curiosity clawed at the edges of every listener's heart. Was it true that his cruel stepmother had dumped an entire gallon of milk over her head? A teenager drenched in dairy in public, no less. A murmur cascaded through the crowd. Can you believe this? What a nightmare! The stories spun wildly, but the truth was hidden beneath layers of suspicion and drama. Was this just a prank gone wrong, or was there a deeper story? The sunlight flashed off the millionaire's sunglasses as he faced the crowd, his composure betrayed by the tension in his jaw. Was he a villain here, or was there something more? Suddenly a hush fell. Everyone leaned in, straining for clarity. But the fray was too intense, the emotions too raw. This wasn't just embarrassing, it was tragic. How could a girl be subjected to such humiliation, and why did it matter so much to a man with a fortune? And as the sobbing continued, the crowd sought assurance amid the chaos. There was a yearning in that silence. Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. As Lily's sorrow hung in the air, it became palpable, almost suffocating. What secret did she hold? What would Mr. Price do next? The crowd was on the edge of their collective seat, hearts racing, and eyes widening. They felt it a mystery begging to be solved. A question loomed, sharp and clear: what could possibly happen next in this whirlwind of emotion and spectacle? The moment hung, thick with unspoken words and unanswered questions. Mr. Price's steely gaze shifted from Lily to the stepmother, a woman dressed to the nines, her lips curled into a mocking smile. The cracks in her polished facade began to surface. It was obvious that she relished Lily's humiliation. "You've embarrassed this family," she spat, her voice dripping with disdain. Lily's shoulders trembled as the weight of her stepmother's words crushed her spirit. "I just wanted to help," she whispered, barely audible above the stunned murmurs of the crowd. Mr. Price stepped closer, fists clenched, as if he wanted to shield Lily from the injustice before them. The onlookers leaned in even more, a collective breath held tight with curiosity. "Help?" Mr. Price's voice blasted fiercely, disrupting the murmur. "This isn't help. This is cruelty." The crowd collectively gasped. The billionaire, known for his distance and cold demeanor, now radiated a fierce protectiveness not often seen. A few in the crowd exchanged glances, tension thickening around them. Was he really defending this girl? What was the connection? Whispers like a distant breeze swept through the onlookers. He must know her somehow, maybe she has family? Suddenly, a teenage boy stepped forward, Richie, a friend from the neighborhood who usually maintained a lower profile. His brow knit with concern, he shouted, "Lily, are you okay?" The simple question cut through the chaos, a spark of humanity in the sea of judgment. "I just wanted..." Lily's voice cracked again, tears mixing with the remnants of the milk that clung to her hair, now a milky mess cascading down her face. The spectacle had turned horrific. Yet, for a fleeting second, she felt less alone, buoyed by the shards of kindness in Richie's eyes. "Let us get her out of here," he urged, his voice steady, cutting through the shaky air. But the stepmother stepped in front of him, rage burning beneath her meticulously crafted exterior. "You will not take her anywhere. This is a lesson she needs to learn." Mr. Price's expression darkened, a storm brewing in his usually calm demeanor. "You think this is a lesson?" he challenged, exasperation evident in his tone. The crowd held its breath, sensing the confrontation escalating. Their eyes darted back and forth, anticipating a clash. Just as tension reached its peak, a sudden loud crack of thunder rolled overhead, and a light rain began to fall. The universe itself seemed to reflect the chaos below. The milky curtain of shame began dissolving, washing away, replaced by the unsanctioned threads of truth. As droplets of rain doused the scene, a figure in the back of the crowd stepped forward, unnoticed until now. Drenched in shadows, this stranger watched intently, eyes narrowed. "Shall I reveal the truth?" they called out, their voice slicing sharply through the clamor. All attention swiveled, the crowd falling silent as they waited for the revelation that teetered on the brink, pulsing with urgency and suspense. What truth lay hidden in the shadows? What could this mysterious figure possibly have to say? The tension, now thick enough to cut, begged for resolution even as it promised deeper revelations ahead. The figure took a step forward, the light rain glistening off their dark clothing, silhouetting them against the backdrop of tension-soaked bystanders. The silence felt electric, charged with anticipation. Mr. Price regarded the figure with a mixture of curiosity and annoyance. "What do you mean?" he demanded, his voice steady despite the storm brewing in his chest. "I know who she is," the shadowy figure replied, their voice low but resonant, spilling a hint of authority that commanded the crowd's attention. "And I know what you've done." Lily's heart raced. Every eye shifted to the newcomer, curiosity mingling with unease. The stepmother's confident facade flickered momentarily, a crack in her icy demeanor as she glared at the intruder. "Who do you think you are?" she shot back, venom lacing her tongue. "Someone who has watched this family tear itself apart," they replied, stepping into the dim light. The rain fell harder now, the rhythm syncing with the pulse of drama. "Someone who will finally put an end to this charade." Richie moved closer to Lily, his hand brushing against her shoulder, a gesture of solidarity. She could feel the warmth of his presence amidst the cold rain, forming a fragile shield against the painful stares and whispers. "What the hell does that mean?" Mr. Price pressed, his resolve slowly shifting from anger to concern. The stranger took a deep breath, scanning the crowd as if searching for allies hidden among the anxious expressions. "It means," they started, voice louder, slicing through the drizzle, "that Lily isn't just some clumsy girl dragging this family down." The words hung in the air, tantalizingly close to the truth yet just out of reach. Before they could finish, the stepmother flared with indignation. "Enough of this nonsense. You have no right to speak about my family," she spat, her voice rising in pitch. "Lily, you're a disappointment. You don't belong here." I just wanted to help," Lily choked out, her voice breaking, thick with emotion. The rain intensified, creating a haunting background to her plea. "Enough!" the stranger shouted, redirecting the focus back onto their own presence. "You don't see the damage your cruelty has caused." They turned their gaze to Lily, eyes softening. "I'm here for you, Lily." A wave of bewilderment rippled through the crowd. A few were leaning closer, curiosity overpowering their judgment. Others exchanged skeptical glances, unsure what to make of the unfolding drama. "Stop this. You're embarrassing yourself," the stepmother said, venom surfacing in her words. "This is a waste of time." But with unyielding determination, the figure lifted their chin, finally revealing their face illuminated by the dim light. Gasps blew through the crowd like wildfire. It was a face familiar to many a local journalist, notorious for uncovering secrets and exposing hidden truths. "Lily," the journalist said, locking eyes with her, "your story matters. And the truth about your stepmother will come to light, and she knows it. The crowd's murmur grew louder, laden with speculation and disbelief. Mr. Price stood rigid, eyes flaring with questions. Let us see how much longer you can keep this facade, the journalist concluded, heart pounding, the tension palpable. As the rain poured down, cascading around them like a curtain shielding secrets, every heartbeat echoed the impending storm of revelations. With all eyes fixed on the stage, one thought burned in the back of Lily's mind: what was the truth that could shift the balance of her world? And as she prepared to face whatever awaited her, another storm loomed just out of sight, pulse quickening with uncertainty. What might the journalist uncover next? The air was thick with expectation, every soul present holding their breath as the journalist's eyes bore into Lily's, a connection that felt both comforting and terrifying. The rain drummed on the pavement, a merciless reminder of the chaos surrounding them. And there, hanging in the air, was the tantalizing promise of hidden truths waiting to be unearthed. What truth? Lily found her voice, trembling yet fierce. The words slipped out as if she'd wrestled them from the grip of her fear. She had to know. Questions burned inside her like fire, and the last thing she wanted was to appear weak in front of the crowd, the people who'd whispered behind her back for far too long. The journalist's mouth twitched slightly, a glimmer of approval dancing in their eyes. You deserve to know who you are, Lily. Not just the girl they've painted you to be. What are you talking about? The stepmother hissed, stepping forward, the last vestiges of her composure cracking. Her face twisted into a mask of rage. You think you can come here and destroy my family? You know nothing. It's not destruction if the truth sets you free, the journalist shot back. Lily deserves better than your lies. The crowd shifted nervously, torn between their loyalties. A few murmured in agreement, while others absorbed the tension like a sponge. Lily felt every gaze prick her skin, each one demanding she react, to either sink or swim amid the rising tide of uncertainty. She deserves to know about the family she really belongs to. The journalist's voice rang out, resonating with power. She is not just your daughter. Don't hide the truth from her. The incredibility of those words sank into Lily's mind like a stone in water. A family? What did that even mean? Her heart began to thump wildly against her ribs, sending adrenaline surging through her. A part of her wanted to run, to shy away from this unfolding reality, but another part, stronger, more defiant, demanded she confront it. Stop it! You're lying! The stepmother shrieked, her voice cracking under the weight of realization that the facade she had built was crumbling. You can't just come in here and announce such things. Lily felt her breath catch, a lump in her throat growing thicker with each exchanged word. Who am I? She whispered, barely audible. The journalist paused, allowing the gravity of the moment to hang between them. You're more than you've been told. Your past is tangled with secrets and lies, but they don't define you. Silence fell, punctuated only by the rain drenching the ground beneath them and her father's heavy breathing as doubt washed over his features. The crowd was no longer a collection of faces. It pulsated as a living entity, a mass of both curiosity and apprehension staring down the unraveling family drama. Lily stood frozen, her gaze shifting among the faces: her father, her stepmother, and the many onlookers, all awaiting the next revelation. It was like waiting for the thunder to clash after a flash of lightning, and the tension became unbearable. And then she saw him, the man in a navy suit at the edge of the crowd. He seemed out of place, eyes darting back and forth, panic etched on his brow. A flicker of movement caught her attention as he leaned closer to someone beside him, whispering urgently. Was he part of this tangled mess or just another bystander? Lily. The journalist's voice buoyed her attention. If you're ready, I can help you uncover the truth you deserve. Her heart raced at the proposition, hope mingling with fear. What would that truth mean for her? For her family? Before she could reply, a sudden shout rang out from the crowd, slicing through the discomfort like a knife. Stop! Don't say a word! Lily's heart dropped. The man in the navy suit had stepped forward, eyes flashing. Questions exploded in her mind. Who was he? What did he want to hide? As he stood there, a barrier between her and the truth, one daunting question surfaced. Why did it feel like the storm was just beginning? Lily's breath hitched as she stared into the man's fierce gaze, an unsettling mix of authority and apprehension radiating from him. Who was he to disrupt this moment? The crowd shifted uneasily, whispers cascading like a wave, and she could feel the tension tightening around her throat. Stay out of this. The stepmother barked, her face pale, but there was something about the man's presence that made her fumble. It was as though his confidence hacked through the facade she had so carefully constructed. I know who she is, he replied, his voice steady and clear. A ripple of confusion passed through the crowd, the energy shifting as if they were teetering on the edge of an impending storm. What do you mean you know who she is? The journalist pressed, his voice rising above the murmur of voices. Who the hell are you? I'm someone who knows more than you think. The man didn't back down, his eyes still locked on Lily. And it's time Lily learned the truth. Truth? What truth? Lily echoed, her voice barely a whisper, overwhelmed by the cacophony of emotions swirling around her. She could feel her heart racing, uncertainty clashing with an insatiable curiosity. Your real mother was involved in something dangerous, he stated, his tone growing grave. And it's time you knew. It's why you've been hidden away all these years. The rain continued to pour, drenching the pavement as Lily stared at him, eyes wide with disbelief. A mother? Involved in something dangerous? The words hung in the air, heavy and ominous. Don't listen to him. Her stepmother sneered, but even she faltered, the confidence in her voice wavering. He's just trying to ruin our lives. The crowd shifted, curiosity mixing with doubt. Faces turned, everyone desperate to absorb the shocking new development. Was this man a threat to her life, or a person who could throw light on the darkness that surrounded her? Lily, believe me, he pressed, his intensity softening as he took a step closer. Your mother didn't abandon you. She wanted to protect you from her world. A world that has eyes everywhere. Shivers raced up Lily's spine. The rain blurred her vision, and she could feel tears boiling at the corners of her eyes. Why did her chest feel so tight? She had a million questions, but none of them wanted to surface in the overwhelming chaos of her thoughts. Is it true? She whispered, vulnerability cracking through her bravado. Did she really leave? Your mother is alive, he said, his voice dropping to a whisper that only she could hear. And if you want, I can help you find her. But you need to trust me. Tremors racked her body as the implications sank in, spirals of confusion tearing through her. She looked at her father, his eyes darting between her and the man in the navy suit, each flicker revealing depths of hidden fears. Stop this now. We are not discussing this. Her stepmother shouted, panic lacing her words, her attempt to uphold control a thin veneer cracking under pressure. Lily, what do you want? The journalist interjected, his gaze drilling into her, imploring her to seize this moment, to break free from the chains of ignorance. The crowd leaned in closer, each face a silent spectator caught in the pulse of the instant. Lily's heart thundered in her chest, and in that moment she was acutely aware of the choices laid before her. Would she take this leap into the unknown, risking everything? Lily! You must, the navy-suited man began, but before he could finish, an unexpected sound shattered the scene. A car screeched to a halt nearby, engines roaring as its headlights cut through the dark. The man's eyes widened in alarm, a look of recognition flashing across his face. What now? The journalist rasped, the air thick with anticipation. Suddenly, the crowd erupted with shouts as the car door swung open. Lily's heart skipped a beat. Who was stepping out of that vehicle? She felt the storm inside her swirling with each second, the night growing darker as shadows began to converge, and just when everything felt poised to explode, a voice pierced the chaos. Lily! Dawn! T listened to him. Her world began to tilt as she turned to see a familiar face emerge from the darkness. What would they say next? Did they hold the answers she desperately sought, or would they plunge her deeper into the mystery? Lily squinted against the heavy rain, trying to make out the figure emerging from the shadows. It was her older sister Emma, her face streaked with the glistening droplets. They hadn't seen each other in what felt like an eternity. Emma? Lily gasped, a wave of relief flooding her heart. But that relief was quickly tangled with confusion. What was Emma doing here? Lily, you have to come with me. Now. Emma's voice cut through the turmoil, urgent and desperate. Come with you? Why? Lily stammered, torn between the man in the suit and the sister she had missed so much. What is happening? The navy-suited man stepped back, his expression shifting to something alarmed. This isn't safe. If they're here, we don't have much time. He turned to Emma. You shouldn't have come here, Emma. What do you know? Emma shot back, her voice trembling. Is this about Mom? What does he want with Lily? Lily's heart raced. The truth hung thick between them, a fragile tether woven between love and fear. The crowd's whispers grew louder, their curiosity intensified by the sudden appearance of her sister. Lily, listen to me. Emma reached out, but before she could grab her hand, a group of men spilled from the car. They were dressed in dark suits, faces masked with determination. The atmosphere shifted, pulsing with the threat they brought. No! We can't let them take her! The man exclaimed, stepping instinctively between Lily and the advancing figures, his posture steady yet protective. Who are they? Lily's throat felt tight. Just more people who want to keep you in the dark, the man replied, his voice low and harsh. Your mother's past is catching up to you, and they're after the truth in you. Lily felt a jolt deep in her chest. Truth and fantasy had morphed into something terrifying. She shot a glance at her stepmother, who stood trembling at the edge of the fray, her trepidation palpable. What had been an innocent birthday party was now a battleground of secrets. Leave her alone! Emma shouted, stepping forward in defiance. All of you! Emma, no! Lily cried, feeling helpless as her sister placed herself dangerously close to the men in suits. Get back! One of the men barked, brandishing a phone in a tight fist. This is not a game. The crowd gasped, their collective breath hitching in unison. Lily's heart pounded louder than the rain. Was this how her life was going to unravel? She had thought she was stepping into a new chapter, but instead, it felt like she had fallen into an abyss filled with threats and ambiguities. Please, you don't have to do this, Lily pleaded, searching for any sign of reason in their hardened faces. I've done nothing wrong. The suited man beside her turned his gaze to her, empathy flashing across his troubled features. You're right in the middle of something much larger than you understand, Lily. Trust me when I say they do not have your best interests at heart. Suddenly, Emma screeched, Lily, they're lying to you. Her voice strained, filled with urgency. The band of men shifted, their leader stepping forward. Enough! He demanded, his eyes fixing on Lily. You need to come with us. It's the only way to find out the truth. Not if I have anything to say about it. The navy-suited man growled, positioning himself protectively in front of Lily. In that moment, Lily felt the conflicting forces surrounding her. The man claiming to know her mother's truth, the sister desperate to protect her, and the men demanding her compliance. The rain intensified, thundering down as if the storm were a living thing, fueling the uncertainty swirling in her mind. Amidst the rage of the night and the escalating tension, she needed to decide. Would she turn to the brotherhood of blood or the unknown beckoning her toward the truth? Choose now, Lily! Both sides roared simultaneously, voices swallowed by the wrath of the storm. And just like that, the world around her spun, splitting her heart in two as shadows danced menacingly at the edges. What life-altering choice would she make? Would the truth set her free or bind her to a fate she couldn't escape? Lily's breath caught in her throat. The rain pounded down around them, a relentless percussion that echoed the turmoil in her heart. The moment felt suspended, as if time itself held its breath, urging her to make a choice. She glanced at Emma, whose expression was a mix of desperation and determination. Lily, please! Come with me! We can escape this! Then, her gaze shifted to the navy-suited man whose protective stance seemed to reassure her faint heart. You don't know what they want, Lily, he insisted, his eyes locking on hers. This isn't just about your mother, it's about your life. More men poured from the sleek black car, their faces obscured, but the menace behind them was clear. The leader, a tall figure with a cold demeanor, barked orders at his cohort. "Surround them! We can't let her slip away!" Emma's voice broke through the chaos. "They're using your fear against you. You're stronger than this." Every word Emma uttered felt like a lifeline, but the pressure mounted. The disparity between them felt vast. Why was this happening? "Get back!" the suited man commanded, his hands raised as if to ward off the danger that encroached. "They're not going to let you leave. We need to move now." Lightning cracked in the distance, illuminating the scene in flashes of white. In those brief moments, she saw their faces intent, merciless, and hungry for something she couldn't yet comprehend. "Lily, you have to decide," Emma cried out, fear creeping into her voice. "No matter what, stick with me." Her heart raced. The voices in her head clashed. The truth? It was just a word until now, shrouded in mystery. It stirred within her an unquenchable thirst for clarity. "Stop this madness!" Lily shouted, surprising herself with the strength in her voice. The rain was relentless, but her resolve hardened. "I want to know what's going on." The moment she spoke, silence fell like a curtain. The men ceased their advance, their eyes narrowing on her with a mixture of surprise and calculation. "Very well," the sleek-suited leader said with a disturbing calmness, a smirk creeping across his face. "If you want the truth, come with us, but know that you will never be the same. There are no second chances in this game." Lily flinched at the ominous words passing through his lips. Emma's expression crumpled, a reflection of her own fear. "What do you mean?" Lily demanded, swallowing the lump in her throat. The leader leaned closer, his voice a silken whisper, filled with dark promise. "Everything you think you know is a lie. The game is just beginning, and you," he pointed decisively at her, "are the key player." The weight of his declaration hovered over her, heavy and suffocating. She looked to Emma, searching for reassurance, but found only shadows of uncertainty in her sister's eyes. "Please don't do this, Lily," Emma urged, stepping forward. "Trust me, there's a way out. We can disappear and start fresh." But then the navy-suited man beside her tightened his grip on her arm. "You can't trust anyone right now," he whispered urgently, glancing over his shoulder at the encroaching figures. "They will use you to get what they want. I can protect you, but you have to trust me." Caught between Emma's familiar love and the unknown promises of the navy-suited man, Lily's decision evaded her grasp. The rain continued its incessant downpour, each drop like a reminder of the urgency clawing at her. A low hum built in the air, electric and almost alive. The men around them shifted restlessly, tension constricting the moment. She was running out of time, and decisions loomed like storm clouds overhead. "Lily!" Emma's voice cracked through the din, her expression pleading. "Just think of Mom!" Mom! That single word sent a chill down her spine, unlocking doors to memories she had buried deeper than the storm. With a deep breath, she prepared to speak, to choose. But before she could draw a word, movement behind the men caught her eye. A shadow emerged, the silhouette of a figure draped in darkness. The crowd gasped again, and the air thickened with an anxious anticipation. Who was this new arrival? And would they change the course of the night, or would it only deepen the mystery? "Stay back!" the suited leader shouted, eyes narrowing at the newcomer. In that moment, Lily felt the weight of a storm gathering not just in the sky, but within her, explosive and ready to burst. What came next could shatter everything she held dear or forge a path to a truth she never anticipated. The sudden figure that emerged from the shadows sent an icy thrill down Lily's spine. The air was thick with fear and a stranger's presence. Tall and cloaked in darkness, the newcomer stepped forward, pushing the men aside like they were mere obstacles in a twisted game. "Let her go," the figure commanded, voice low and firm. The intensity of it resonated in the chaos, silencing the storm's fury even momentarily. Lily's heart pounded in her chest as she squinted through the torrents of rain, trying to discern the features of this stranger. The navy-suited man beside her tightened his hold, but the urgency in the new voice beckoned her. "Who are you?" she shouted, desperation clawing at her. The figure shifted, specially designed boots slicing through the muddy ground. "A friend, however unlikely that may seem," they replied, pushing closer. Every stride seemed to pulse with resolve. The tone was both comforting and unsettling. "What do you want?" the leader snapped, his demeanor now frantic. The confidence he had exuded a moment ago faltered under the weight of this unexpected intervention. "I want the truth," the newcomer answered, eyes blazing with purpose. "And I'm here to ensure she gets it." Emma clutched Lily's arm, swinging her gaze between the two. "Lily, do you trust them?" The question hung in the air, spiraling into Lily's mind. Trust was a fragile thing, especially now. But Emma's voice felt like a lifeline, weaving between certainty and turmoil. "I don't know," Lily admitted, panic rising. This night had already blurred the lines of reality, and the shadows of the storm seemed to shift and change like the truth itself. Just then, the dark figure paused, flicking their wrist. A flash of silver caught Lily's eye. Something glimmered in their hand, a small device that looked almost like a remote. "I don't have time for games, Nathan," the figure said to the suited man, whose face contorted in disbelief. "Then you should have chosen another path." Nathan shot back, backing away. The tension peaked, and Lily could feel the electric energy crackling around them, a long-held secret dangerously close to unraveling. With a slight nod from the newcomer, the device emitted a blinding flash, followed by a deep rumble that reverberated through the air. The men surrounding them staggered back, eyes wide with shock. The momentary distraction allowed the navy-suited man to pull her closer. "We need to move. This is far from over." But Lily couldn't tear her gaze from the figure. "Wait. Who are you really?" "I told you," the newcomer said sharply, voice punctuating the chaos surrounding them. "I'm the one who can help you unlock the truth. But if we're going to do this, you must decide now. Stand with me, or let Nathan win." The clock was ticking. Swirls of confusion mixing with fear made her feel like she was spinning in every direction. What lay ahead was a fork in the road, a choice that could alter her life irreparably. Just then, a distant howl broke through the night. One of the men suddenly fell, clutching his side as confusion mingled with panic. "What have you done?" another shouted, distress clear in his voice. Lily shook her head, trying to center herself even as chaos seemed to engulf them. "I didn't do anything." "What is happening?" "You've awakened something that should have stayed buried," the newcomer warned, urgency bleeding through their words as they glared at Nathan. Lily's heart thundered in her chest. What had she stumbled into? For a fleeting moment, hope flickered. Maybe there was a way out. But the tension felt like a countdown, each second pulling her deeper into impending doom. "Choose, Lily," Emma urged, eyes wide with fear. "Will you trust this person?" The air thickened with the weight of the unknown, the stakes higher than she'd ever imagined. The wind howled, the rain pounded, and in that frantic moment she felt the world tilt dangerously. But could she gamble her life on this stranger's promise? As she opened her mouth to respond, the ground beneath them trembled ominously, a new danger approaching. What awaited in the depths of the unfolding mystery? And would she have the courage to face it head-on? The ground shook violently beneath Lily's feet, sending a fresh wave of panic crashing over her. It felt as if the earth itself had grown tired of their deceit and was about to swallow them whole. Around her, the storm raged on, wind howling like wounded beasts, rain lashing at their faces as if warning them of the impending doom. "Get down!" Nathan barked, his grip on her tightening. This wasn't just a quarrel anymore, it felt decidedly more sinister. The newcomer who had unexpectedly arrived like a beacon in the storm stepped forward. "Lily! Now!" Their voice cut through the chaos with overwhelming authority, drawing her eyes away from the turmoil surrounding Nathan and back to the figure clad in shadow. But before she could make a decision, a blinding flash erupted from the device in their hand. The night lit up like midday, and for a moment, fear and confusion paused, swallowed by the brilliance of the light. Momentarily blinded, Lily couldn't scream, couldn't think, couldn't do anything but shield her eyes and brace against the shockwave that bore down on them, rattling her very bones. "Move!" Emma yelled, dragging Lily to the side, away from the glare and the chaos. Nathan was backing away, his bravado deflating like a punctured balloon. Horror twisted his features as he lost his grip on control, glancing around wildly for an escape. The violent tremors rippled through the earth, followed by an echoing growl that seemed to emanate from deep within the ground itself. A sinking feeling settled in the pit of her stomach, and as her eyes adjusted, the scene unfolded before her in a nightmare haze. The men, once menacing, were now nothing but silhouettes darting in every direction, panic coursing through them. One had fallen to his knees, clutching his side, blood seeping through his fingers. "What is happening?" Lily gasped, turning to the stranger, whose features finally came into focus. A grim determination sat in their eyes, heavy and unwavering. "You've unleashed something," they said, voice strained. "Something that won't be contained easily." Just then, a deafening roar pierced the air, rattling her entire being. All eyes turned in the direction of the sound, her heart leaping as an enormous shape began to rise from the depths of the ground. Shadows twisted grotesquely, something vast and dark being pulled from the earth as if summoned by the chaos surrounding them. "No!" Nathan's voice trembled, fear overtaking him. "This can't be happening. We thought it was contained." Lily's hands trembled, her heart racing like a runaway train. She wasn't prepared for this. Hadn't he signed up for monsters resurfacing from legends? "Lily! Trust me, we need to move," the newcomer insisted, urgency bubbling beneath the surface of their controlled composure. But before she could reply, the ground erupted violently around them, and the figures of the men vanished into the shadows. Every instinct screamed for her to run, yet something rooted her in place, a potent mix of fear and an odd sense of purpose. "The truth," she murmured, her voice lost in the fury of the storm. "What is the truth?" But the question spiraled, overshadowed by the looming dark mass that loomed ever closer. "Now! We don't have much time!" the figure cried out, reaching for her hand, their eyes burning with urgency. Lily hesitated, glancing back at the chaos, the creature that seemed born from the storm itself, threatening to break free. Could she really trust this stranger and whatever dark truth they held? With a stealing breath, she reached for the figure's outstretched hand. Could this be a leap of faith? Or a step toward her own undoing? As she gripped their hand, a deafening crack echoed in the night, and the beast's roar shook the very air. Whatever came next would demand everything from her. But in that moment of decision, something deep inside whispered that this was only the beginning. What shadows awaited them once they stepped into the dark unknown? The storm raged on, but in that moment, a fierce calm lined Lily's soul. She wasn't just standing at the precipice of fear, she was embracing it as if it were a long-lost friend. When she clasped the stranger's hand, electricity surged through her, igniting a spark of courage. "We need to go, now," the figure urged, pulling her closer into their protective embrace as the darkness swirling around them grew ferocious. With her heart thrumming in her ears, she sprinted beside them, dodging the chaotic energy erupting from the corners of the storm. She cast a fleeting glance back at Emma, whose expression shifted from fear to determination. As Lily ran, a sense of urgency clung to her heart like damp, heavy fog. Behind them, the rumbling growl of the beast echoed, a sinister reminder that every choice had consequences. The shadow clawed at the ground, taking form, pulsating with raw power. Nathan and the masked men scrambled, throwing themselves into the nearest shadows, leaving Lily feeling a pang of grief for their dark intentions. This was her chance to break free. "This way!" the newcomer shouted, leading Lily down a narrow alley where the storm's fury felt like a world away. A bated breath emerged from her lungs, every part of her screamed at her to stop, turn back, confront the chaos. But this new path lit with potential and the promise of discovery. As they turned a sharp corner, the alley opened up to an abandoned warehouse. "Inside," the stranger urged, shoving the door open with a rusty creak that rang out, drowning the howling wind behind them. They rushed in, stumbling momentarily over debris, panting heavily. "What have you unleashed?" Lily gasped, turning to face the shadowy figure. Her heart raced inside her chest. Finally close enough to see their features clearly, she noted the hurt shimmering in their dark eyes and the determination etched across their face. "It's complicated," they admitted, holding their hands up. "You need to understand what's stirring in the storm is tied to your mother. They want her back for reasons you can't even begin to fathom." Her heart plummeted. "What do you mean? Why does it matter so much? Why can't I just know the truth without this chaos?" "Because the truth is dangerous. It holds power over everyone. Over you. You were kept safe from it." But now the figure paused, breath hitching in their throat as the sound of thunder in the distance rumbled ominously. "Now they think they can reclaim their hold." "What is it?" she pressed, desperation clawing at her. "You have a legacy, a connection to a world beyond this," the figure explained, their intensity sharpening as if they saw something deeper within her. "A world plagued by greed and darkness, and you were hidden, Lily, for your own protection." A chill trickled down her spine. The pieces of her life began coming together. Each fragment of doubt she held began to morph into something different, freedom instead of suffocation. "Emma deserves this connection too," she declared, a new sense of purpose welling up inside her. She felt the burden of her sister's absence slip away as anger boiled beneath the surface. "Everything I am that we are, this has to matter. We can't let them take you both. Trust me when I say you need to prepare for what's coming." The figure met her gaze, urgency painting their words, but determination flickered in Lily's chest. The door creaked, and suddenly the light went dim. The growling sounded faint but insistent, lingering close by. Nathan's frantic shouts echoed somewhere outside, an angry chorus against the rising storm. With clenched fists and adrenaline surging through her, Lily called out, "No! I won't let this happen!" And in that moment, she made a choice fueled by hope and the need to protect those she loved. She turned to the dark figure. "If they want me, we'll give them a fight they'll never forget." A soft smile broke out across the stranger's face. "That's the spirit. Let us ready ourselves." As urgency framed the air around them, Lily felt strands of courage wrap around her heart. The storm whispered promises of battle and awakening. "Everyone deserves the truth," she declared, as the looming shadows inside the warehouse seemed less oppressive. "And I'll face it. I'll uncover everything." With newfound strength swirling inside her like a tempest, she stepped into the unknown, ready to confront whatever dark truth awaited beyond the face of her new reality. From the echoes of her past to the path stretching endlessly before her, she was ready. No longer just a victim, she was the key to a force vast and powerful. Thunder cracked like a whip in the sky, drowning out their last words as they prepared to meet the truth head-on, fierce and unyielding. The storm was only the beginning of her journey, and she would never back down again. Now, dear friends, as we come to the end of this incredible chapter, I need you to take action. Subscribe immediately so you don't miss the next exclusive story. Smash that like button now to help our community grow. Flood the comments with your thoughts, theories, and reactions to Lily's journey. Your voice matters. And please, don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who also need to know about this powerful conclusion. Together we create an unstoppable force. Let's keep this community thriving.